Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty.
Members of the jury, are these your unanimous verdicts? Is there anyone who does not agree with the verdicts as read?
Kyle motherfucking Rittenhouse is not guilty. Are you kidding me? This is why Black, Indigenous, and people of color cannot trust white people, because they can carry a mother AR-15, walk around in the crowd, and kill people and not go to jail.
I'm telling y'all, listen, y'all better wake the fuck up. Y'all think y'all had a win today, but it ain't gonna be how y'all think it is. And we ain't gotta burn up, we ain't gotta tear down, but I'm telling y'all, think that y'all can come rule over black people, that y'all can come police black people, and you don't have a badge on, you go around and find out. We ain't taking that from nobody. We ain't taking that from no motherfucker.
You can think that you want to be a mini police officer if you want to. That's all I'm saying to you.
Otherwise, we'll arm all the 17-year-old black kids from Milwaukee and send them to your community. And see we'll see what the police did, and if y'all support them in court, we'll see if how that goes. Get out of here.
That's your sanction. A murderer. They let a murderer go free.
They always supporting murderers. They always supporting racists.
The law. The murderers and the racists. Who wrote the law? Who does it govern? The laws wasn't written by us. It was written by them. If the laws was created by them, and guess who is going to protect? Yes. Okay, then. So I'm not surprised. But what's good for the goose is good for the... I am a mind man. I am a mighty man.
That's in the back. You're not pushing. We got people.
All right, guys. So as you can see there, that is literally leftists breaking down in tears, right? Looks like that person may have been having a panic attack or something like that over the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict. And guys, I gotta say, I am absolutely embarrassed, right? I am embarrassed by these predictable reactions, particularly from black people regarding this verdict. I mean, if you didn't know anything about this, right, you just saw the reactions, you would think that Kyle Rittenhouse had killed some black folks, right?
I simply wanted to publicly announce that the verdict of the Kyle Rittenhouse case has been nothing more than a disgusting reminder of what it's really like to be black in America. All the protesting, everything we went through in 2020, we really would think would make a change, but clearly it doesn't. We scream Black Lives Matter, but it doesn't matter enough for these people who are in power, the jury, the judge, anybody, to charge this man with murdering and taking away two beautiful black lives at the ripe ages of 26 and 36. It's disgusting. We can't go to the store, rest in peace, Trayvon Martin. We can't lay in bed, rest in peace, Breonna Taylor. And we can't even protest without our lives being on the line. And that's what we fight for, what we fight for.
You would think black people have died, okay? Again, it just amazes me how this is how black folks act when white people are killed, but they have no reaction when there are black people killed every single day by other black people, right? And in my opinion, it just goes to show once again that our priorities are in the wrong place. However, the point of this video is to cover reactions across the spectrum. And I'm not the only one that's embarrassed. MSNBC should also be embarrassed, as you know, they got accused of trying to dox a jury. But after the verdict, they interviewed a man who they believe was Jacob Blake's uncle, except he actually wasn't.
Jacob Blake's uncle is speaking right now. We want to listen into that. So hang on with me.
Social justice has never been about taking lives, saving lives. It's never been about tearing down communities. It's been about building communities. It's never been about division. It's been about unity. We're going to maintain peace and protest in these streets and all over America. Our voices are going to be heard. All over America, our feet are going to take the streets of America, because we still have Ahmaud Arbery. We still have Heather Heyer in Charlottesville, Virginia, and the fight continues. We know the truth, and one thing about the truth will make you free. We're not satisfied. We're not going to be pacified. And we're not going to accept.
All right, that is not Jacob Blake's uncle. We got some bad information to us, and when we turn that camera on, my apologies for that.
All right, guys. So yeah, that's a pretty embarrassing moment for MSNBC, right? Who probably is crying about this outcome as we speak. Matter of fact, I know for a fact they're crying as we speak, because they try so hard to run propaganda that this somehow involved white supremacy. And, you know, that Kyle Rittenhouse went there to shoot black people, all kinds of crazy stuff. Okay, and if this does not solidify the fact that MSNBC is a fake news propaganda network that shouldn't be trusted by anybody, I don't know what will. But on to the reactions from some of the race hustlers of America, starting with Miss Cori Bush, who says, the judge or jury, the defendant, it's white supremacy in action. This system isn't built to hold white supremacists accountable. It's why black and brown folks are brutalized and put in cages while white supremacist murderers walk free. I'm hurt, I'm angry, I'm heartbroken. Guys, this is the same person who claimed that white supremacists were shooting at her, right, back in the day, I think like 2014, during Michael Brown protests, right, with no evidence whatsoever to support that claim, right? No evidence. Police came out and was like, nah, I don't think that's what happened. Okay, so she's just known for making stuff up, right? Just like she's making up the fact that Kyle Rittenhouse is a white supremacist. And, you know, like I said, Kyle Rittenhouse really should sue a lot of these people for calling him a white supremacist with no evidence whatsoever. But we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Now we have Jamel Hill, right? And she says, the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict that several states have enacted laws that allow murderous immunity if they hit protesters with their cars. It's about this country's addiction to maintaining white supremacy at all costs. It's on brand and in line with who America has always been. So again, claims of white supremacy, right? Apparently white supremacy is a white person shooting 3 white people, some of whom have records that nobody should be proud of, right? And the left seems to ignore that, right? They seem to not want to acknowledge these things, okay? But it just goes to show you guys how desperate these people are really getting to push a narrative, right? It's never been about facts. It's always about narrative. And you know, it blows my mind because they accuse conservatives of having no evidence that there's racial indoctrination in school, while at the same time, them claiming that Kyle Rittenhouse is a white supremacist with absolutely no evidence, right? I can tell you for a fact, there's way more evidence out there that there's racial indoctrination occurring in school than there is that Kyle Rittenhouse is a white supremacist. I know that for sure. But nobody ever fact checks this stuff from them, right? We have Miss Nicole Hannah-Jones, who says, in this country, you can even kill white people and get away with it if those white people fighting for black lives. This is the legacy of 1619. So again, this is the mental gymnastics that these people jump through, right? They're now saying that, well, he killed white folks, but because they were marching for black lives, right? It's somehow white supremacy. And you know, it's funny because I would find it fascinating to hear Nicole Hannah-Jones' opinion on the white guy, I think it was Jacob Rosenbaum, that said, shoot me N-word, during this protest, right? Just flat out using the N-word, a racial slur, okay? These are the people that they're standing up for, right? In a clear case of self-defense. This is who they stand up for. Guys, I keep trying to tell you, it's never been about black folks, right? It's never been about black lives. It's always been about the narrative and the left-wing agenda. Pro-black simply just means pro-progressive. That's literally what it means. And then we have Colin Kaepernick, who probably has the worst take of all the race hustlers of America, as he says, we just witnessed a system built on white supremacy validate the terrorist acts of a white supremacist. This only further validates the need to abolish the current system. White supremacy can't be reformed. Again, said that Kyle Rittenhouse was a terrorist, false. Said he was a white supremacist, false. A system built on white supremacy with a white judge, white lawyers, white people that were killed by a white person, right? Somehow, again, this white boy being found not guilty of killing 3 white people, right? In a white judge with a mostly white jury. Somehow, white supremacy, right? Somehow it's white supremacy. Yeah, these people, bro, they will just say anything to push the narrative. Okay, it's getting to the point now where it's like, it's just comical, right? It is clown behavior. It really is. But speaking of white supremacy, there's somebody in particular that accused Kyle Rittenhouse of being a white supremacist that is probably going to want to walk back those comments. As remember, guys, our president Joe Biden actually called Kyle Rittenhouse a white supremacist last year, And now, you know, he seems to be not necessarily sticking with that narrative anymore. And Kyle Rittenhouse, attorney, is actually calling Joe Biden out on his past comments as well. Take a look.
Well, look, I don't know enough to know whether that 17-year-old kid, exactly what he did. But allegedly, he's part of a militia coming out of the state of Illinois. Have you ever heard this president say one negative thing about white supremacists? Have you ever heard it? That's the reason I got back in this race, because what happened in Charlottesville. People coming out of the woods carrying torches, their veins bulging.
Do you have any reaction to the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict?
I just heard a moment ago.
Do you have any reaction?
I didn't watch the trial, so
Do you stand by your past comment equating him to white supremacy?
Well, look, I stand by what the jury has concluded. The jury system works, and we have to abide by it.
Yeah, and I said, I've never had a case, and I don't think I ever will, where within 2 days or 3 days of one another, you know, the president and the presidential candidate comment on it. And both of them had such different beliefs. President Biden said some things that I think are so incorrect and untrue. He's not a white supremacist. I'm glad that he at least respects the jury verdict. And if the government had any information regarding his cell phone or anything, that he'd been to any of those websites or been online doing that kind of stuff, it would have been introduced in evidence. It wasn't. We were the individuals who released his cell phone, which couldn't be cracked by the FBI because we had nothing to hide.
All right, guys, so as you can see there, Kyle Rittenhouse, attorney, is calling out Joe Biden. And like I was saying before in this video, I definitely think that Kyle Rittenhouse should sue some folks, right? Particularly Joy Reid, Joe Biden, right? All the people that claimed that this man was a white supremacist and painted the false narrative that this man went to Kenosha to kill people, right? To kill black people. He needs to sue their asses off. He needs to sue all these networks for every penny that they work, right? I hope that Kyle Rittenhouse becomes a millionaire and he never has to work a day in his life ever again. That would be the perfect ending to the story, right? Because the fact that these people went out here and defamed this kid, right, to the point where he probably won't ever be able to have a normal life ever again, making false claims that we know are just flat out false, again, in my opinion, is grounds to sue for defamation. And if it isn't, we do need to change that aspect of our legal system, right? That sounds like a systemic issue that we need to change, okay? Because again, guys, the president, right, or a candidate running for president at the time called the man a white supremacist when there's no evidence whatsoever to suggest that he's a white supremacist, okay? And, you know, like I said, these reactions, man, it's just sad, right? It's funny, but it's also sad at the same time. Because this is just an example of how much the liberal media has brainwashed the left, right? A large amount of these people literally do not know what happened in this trial. A large amount of these people literally did not watch the video. A large amount of these people do not know anything about this, right? They literally believe disinformation / misinformation that has been perpetuated by the left-wing liberal media, right? And that's why they're so outraged. Because if they actually had the real story, if they actually knew what happened, if they actually had the facts, there's no way in the world that anybody with 2 brain cells could be outraged by this, right? They could just be like, hey, you know what? I don't agree with X, Y, and Z, but you know what? Hey, the dude was acting in self-defense. It is what it is. The American judicial system worked the way it's supposed to work, right? And again, I find it fascinating how these people get so outraged when it's like, bro, y'all just got what you wanted when it came to Derek Chauvin, right? In which, you know, the dude, in my opinion, was overcharged with second-degree murder, right? Probably should have been manslaughter, but they overcharged him because of the outrage from the left, right? And found him guilty, okay? So you got one, right? You got one. But you're mad about Kyle Rittenhouse, who was acting in self-defense for killing 3 white folks, right? And somehow you're trying to make that about black folks. Again, it just shows you how desperate these people are to push this narrative. And true instances of racism that the left-wing liberal media can point out really is on life support, right? It's on life support. They don't have any real white supremacists to point out and say they exist. So that's why they go with people like Kyle Rittenhouse, right? With no evidence whatsoever, right? But again, the sad part about this, guys, is that all this outrage is happening while there are bigger issues to deal with in this country, particularly for black people, that gets ignored every single day, right? every single day because the left-wing liberal media distracts people on purpose, right? They keep people ignorant on purpose, caring about things that really don't matter. And again, it's just a damn shame that people are so ignorant in this country that they can believe this stuff despite the evidence right in front of their face in regards to what happened. It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely insane. But hey, man, like I said, I'm enjoying the leftist liberal outrage, right? And I hope that Kyle ends up suing the left-wing media and Joe Biden and all those people who smeared him as a white supremacist with no evidence, right? I really hope that he gets his revenge on those people because he really deserves it. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.